American Institute of Human Rights. They've just come back from diplomatic missions at the United Nations on our behalf. Yes, they have. Let's give them a hand. Also with us is Miss Cecile Johnson. Did I get that right? Who is a researcher and a certified human rights defender. Sisters and brothers, I'm going to bring on to you my friends. I want to bring on to you my allies. I want you to receive them as family. And I want you to know that they are giving all that they can to bring about sovereignty, nationalization, reparations, decolonization for our people. They are our friends. They are professionals. And I want you to pay careful and close attention because this thing is about to get heavy up in here. Is that right? I know we come to the conferences and y'all used to jump in and holler and we need that. But now we got to get down to business. This is a conference, this is a convention where we must have outcomes and we must have resolutions that will last down the wheel of time. We're going to come out of this convention and coming out of here today, your hope, your vision, the strategic plan for taking our struggle to the next level and achieving land, achieving territory, achieving that which we said we want into an actual reality. This is a very important day, and this is the most important session of this convention. Leaders and speeches that we could ever have, and all of that's part of it. But now we have to get about the administration of building a nation. We have to get about, right now, like attorneys, and we have scheduling orders. We got to get on schedule and on time. We don't have time to waste. Everybody who's watching around the country, turn everything off. Focus your attention. You got to learn right now and know what is happening. This is no play day today. I want to bring on to you one of my mentors, my big brother, man that supports everything we do, and we support him, attorney and Dr. Mustafa Al-Ansari and his team from the American Institute of Human Rights. Bring these giants on. Let's bring them on.
Everyone. I bring you peace coming from Chicago. That's right. All right, so today I'm going to go a little bit into the meat of building power through the process of self-determination. The steps to building a nation. So some people, for those who doubt 42 million Afro-descendant people should not be self-determined, let's look at the Europeans. The Europeans occupy 1/15 of the world's total land area. Less than 7%, and they have less than 1/10 of the world's population. Yet they have more than 25 of the nations of the world in the UN. 25%. So 50 countries of the 193 member states at the UN are European nations. Now, when you look, you see that 41 of them have less population than we do. And it's clear when you look at some of their countries, they have 30, 40, 50, 100,000. And we have over 42 million people. And we question at times whether we should have self-determination, right? So let's go into what the state as a person is. The Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States, signed in December 26, 1933, says the state as a person of international law should possess the following qualifications. It should have a permanent population, a defined territory, should have a government, and it should have the capacity to enter into relations with other states. So what is nation building? Nation building is constructing or structuring a national identity using the power of the state. Nation building is the process through which these majorities are constructed, right? So the first thing was a permanent population. You see, we got one, right? The second is a defined territory. These are the different types of states that we have to nationalize. Many of you live in cities, right, that are within a county, that are within a state, within the United States. And so you look at a place like Washington, D.C., which is a majority black city, and they have, in the House of Rep, they have a district, is represented by a delegate who is not allowed to vote on the House floor, but can vote on procedural matters and in congressional committees, and they have no representation in the Senate. So we need to define our territory. So you get out your red pen, you begin to circle the areas with majority black populations, right? You begin to draw your boundaries. In that ward map that you see up there, that's where the black people live. We're on the south side and the west side, right? Our urban planners will look at the infrastructure needs. They'll be called districts and rezone based on the local parliament. This is a key concept. A confederation is a political strategy that changes configuration from a national minority to a majority in our own areas. When you're a majority in your own areas, then you run things. So the third piece is a government, right? A government is a body of persons that constitutes the governing authority of a political unit, right? Like the U.S. has a government, like the state of Maryland got a government, like Prince George County got a government, like the city of Chicago got a government, right? So, again, a confederation is a political strategy that changes configuration from a national minority to a majority in our own areas. So the step one, you sign the Declaration of Self-Determination. Last October 1st in Tougaloo, Mississippi, a Declaration of Self-Determination was signed. Once we sign the declaration as a collective people, we will now have a juridical identity. A juridical identity is defined as a human being authorized by law with duties and rights, recognized as a legal authority having a distinct identity, a legal personality. You have to have that in order to take a case. We will be defined as African descendants until our parliament decides differently, if necessary. This makes us a declaratory nation, right? This gives us standing as a juridical people in domestic and international courts. We now have the authority to form an interim government. That's what that form looks like. Before you leave here today, you'll be seeing that form, a declared consent for self-determination and a request for decolonization. We need you to sign it. Step two, an interim government. This interim government now creates a National Assembly. Representatives are chosen by the Confederation groups and is based on the population numbers. We discussed the Articles of Confederation, we signed the Articles of Confederation, and we have now perfected what we call the interim government. This interim government is selected, not elected. You get it? That's how they started this country, okay? So this interim government has a duty to then hold a plebiscite vote within a reasonable time. All African descendants within the boundaries can vote. And then this interim government will create the criteria to vote. So you can go to the website at addconfederation.com and be part of that census. The step three, this interim government now has the duty and the authority to hold a plebiscite vote. What's a plebiscite? A plebiscite vote is a vote to determine the community's support for self-government. Right. It is an election to authorize the seating of a parliament who will form a constitution. The elective governmental assembly will have the ability to address remedies. All the brothers who have spoken before me today talk about the crisis and the conditions that we are in. What we need, people, is some remedies, right? And this is going to make our communities whole again. The elective government will now have the authority to begin negotiations with the United States to form what we call a free association. So, first we're going to building our nation by consent, and that's where we ask you to participate in the signing of that document and saying that you are part of agreeing that we have this Declaration of Self-Determination and in our bid to go before the Decolonization Committee, right? So this gives the African descendant population a power of authority. This takes us from an interim government to the seating of a constitutional government. This political move will increase our wealth to become the 12th wealthiest nation in the world based on GDP. Right now, we're leaving money on the table. UN monitors will be added to our monitors because we are also going to be training monitors, human rights monitors across the country during this process. This ties into the UN working group recommendations. They were here in 2016 and they gave a very scathing report of life and what it was like here for us, and said that the U.S. owed the black population reparations. The UN group said that they can make recommendations, but the people on the ground have to take the steps to enforce them. Remember the brothers who came before? Everybody say, ain't nobody come to rescue you. You're gonna have to rescue yourself. You have to become involved in the process. So that's what we're doing. The African descendants will need to decide what type of government they have. Some of you are familiar with parliamentary, presidential, or whatever. It's for the people to come together and decide. So this free association relationship, right? These are the issues. Free association means that a state manages its own law and has a special relationship with a majority independent state that will share its citizenship and provide economic assistance and defense. That's what we are right now in the United States. We would be dual citizens. So the things that we would be negotiating with the United States is national security, criminal justice matters, economic relations, reparations, communications, foreign affairs, diplomatic relations, immigration, environmental protection, interstate transportation, and money, right? Coin money. And so the African Descendant Confederation will be able to establish its local governments, raise taxes, establish and maintain our schools, right? Regulate trade between the Confederates, conduct elections, establish central bank, borrow money, provide for public safety, and provide for the public welfare, take care of our health and all of that. So this confederation will be a shared sovereignty. The United Nations and the intergovernmental bodies will provide assistance during this period to help establish our infrastructure. The American Institute of Human Rights will facilitate the process. That's what we're doing, facilitating the process. So the US to the Confederation funding will be negotiated and reconfigured. Currently, the Confederation gets money, as you know you are right now, through federal dollars, come to state dollars, come down to members in different areas. The federal government will then be able to transfer money to the Confederation, similar to what the Native Americans, what we call Native Americans, go through. So the fourth element is a capacity to enter into relations with other states and other countries, right? And the recognition of this sovereignty has been described as the free act by which one or more states acknowledge the existence on a definite territory of a human society, politically organized, and that's what we've done, independent of any other, and is capable of observing the obligations of international law. Recognition grants the state and its sovereignty a character of international legitimacy, and consequently a capacity to enter into relations with other sovereign states. And we are asking our brothers out there in Africa and other countries where the Afro-descendants and African descendants are, to recognize this. The Confederation will seek a compact of free association agreement with the United States so that it will be self-governed. Yes, ma'am. Okay? The Confederation will seek a compact of free association agreement with the United States so that it will be self-governed. 42 million people need to govern themselves. So this is what it will look like. The African descendant path to self-determination, right? Right now we're in a declaratory nation because we have signed the Declaration of Self-Determination, so we're in a declaratory nation. What we will move to, when we finish building the Confederation, is the interim government, and from the interim government to a constitutional, democratic, free, associational state, okay? So we're moving from declaratory nation to interim government. So please sign the signature page that you see that we'll be giving out. And for those of you at home, go onto the website, confederation.com or africandevelopmentplan.org. So, do you understand what we're doing? Not trying, but we're doing it. You understand? Are you in support of that? Okay, so then we need you to sign. We need you to get educated, we need you to become informed. This is the most important thing we have done in the last 400 plus years, right? We're gonna rule ourselves. Thank you. And now we'll have Dr. Ansari come up and finish it up for you.
If you like what you've heard, here are 5 things you can do to get involved and speed up our process for self-determination.
Please sign up today. Your signature will help change our destiny. Declare your consent for self-determination and request for decolonization. Email a picture or PDF of your signed form to adselfdetermination@protonmail.com, to adselfdetermination@protonmail.com, and visit our website www.adconfederation.com to download the form and to get more information on how you can get involved.
Get educated. Read our new book, The Process: Civil Rights to Human Rights. Learn the difference between civil rights and human rights, and how we're going to obtain self-determination and reparations. To order your copy, please visit adconfederation.com.
Learn how to become a certified human rights monitor. A human rights monitor is an international law investigator who investigates and reports human rights violations by preparing and sending reports to the national and international courts, to lawyers, to state legislators, and international bodies. The UN Human Rights Compliance Officer gets a certificate in the International Standards of Policing. The UN Human Rights Monitor is trained in self-determination, democracy, and indigenous peoples' rights. Classes start June 18, 2018. For more information, visit www.AIHrights.com. www.AIHrights.com. Okay, folks, it's nation time. If you like what you've heard, donate now. We have formed a real nation under international law. Your donations will help to get reparations for real. It will help implement emergency precautionary measures against police brutality. It will help gain control over our schools, provide urgent legal assistance, and aid the preparation and presentation of our legal case to the UN and international courts. Support your liberation. Donate at www.adconfederation.com.
Invite us out to speak. Popular topics include building power through the process of self-determination and reparations, civil rights versus human rights, addressing issues of public safety and social justice, the state of Black America, creating local political authority, county, city, and state, and new strategies for community engagement. Please feel free to contact us at adselfdetermination@protonmail.com.